So this is my sailing canoe. Let's try this again. All right, this is my sailing canoe. Right now it has a temporary rudder on the back. I'm still working on the primary rudder, but haven't had time to finish that yet. I'm going to do a quick walk around. Obviously right now this is set up with the mizzen and rudder and oars and the outrigger balance. Hopefully that will be sufficient for today in the lighter winds. Anyway, the mizzen I'm still not sold on. Controlling the mizzen's a bit strange. I'm not sure that what I've done for controlling the rudder is appropriate too, but we'll start at the bow for the walkthrough. Okay, up here at the bow, on the bow deck plate, I've put bungees. These bungees are intended to secure lines, and I also use it for a weather vane, a little flag I put under that. Very useful during launching. I put the cords under that when I launch, and then as it floats out they come undone and on their own. Coming back, I have a connection on the thwart, the handle thwart. That's basically a runner for an anchor. It runs back, and it's a continuous loop that I can run out the anchor point off the bow as opposed to off the side. The next thing back, and this is for the main. Okay, the main mast was made from 4 pieces of 1x2s. They were put together in a square configuration, hollow, with a 1-inch spacer dowel at the bottom and I think a 1/2 inch at the top. And the 1 inch was about 6 foot up, and then from there I bent the ends in to give a natural taper at the top without necessarily lighter aspects of it. That's got a hexagonal base, but I've rounded it off just above the base here, so that it's got a more smooth aspect going up. In here we got the mast partner and the mast step. On the mast partner I've put 2 eye bolts, one left and one right. One's for the downhaul, one's for the uphaul or the halyard. I also have a center one which I've used before on a lateen sail that enables me to pull down and create more lift in the back if I need to raise the back of it. Right now the line you see right here, that goes up for my lazy jacks I've constructed. That's actually a downhaul for the lazy jacks you see right there, and the lazy jacks come down the side. I'll go to the other side, a little easier to see on this side. The lazy jacks come down from the top down to the side, and they connect to the boom with toggles. These toggles are about 2 inches wide by a dowel, about a 1/2 inch dowel I think. I've put a little groove in the middle to help seat the utility cord. That's done with a Prusik knot, and then an overhand on the side as part of the loop. And then the continuous loop itself is done into a Prusik around the boom, so I can slide and adjust position for that. On the larger sail, I've put 3 of these in on each side, so that's a total of 6. I might actually try to get a longer boom, because right now where the boom sits, it's really hard to have, and where I would sit here in the middle, it's hard to have an outer connection point, which is what I would actually like to have without it interfering with me. So right now I'm working off the center piece, and maybe I'll put that out a little bit further so it gets a little more pull on the sail itself. So far that's been working okay. Okay, right now I have the control panel temporarily put in on the front seat as I continue to look at my configuration. I have 2 jam cleats for the downhauls. I have a jam cleat on a loop. I'm sorry, a cam cleat on a loop. That's for the boom, the sheet control. And over here I got a cleat which is currently used primarily for the uphaul or the halyard. Excess cord for the halyard is under the bungee. Now coming back here, next thing back is my outrigger support. I'm probably going to redo these with bigger outrigger support, but right now these are large bumpers, boat bumpers that are put on a 2x4 outrigger. I have two arms that are expandable, okay, so I can get further out. Conceptually, extended farther, it should give more up leverage on the canoe. Right now I've sort of kept it on the inner portions, and one of the driving factors is the oars. If it goes out very much further, they actually interfere with the oars during the oar stroke. Okay, I do use knobs with the bolt through to allow me to add and remove, and that holds down the center. And the outer piece is a galvanized loop on 2x4 that they slide into and gives the resistance on the up. Okay. Next thing back here in the center, we have a little low seat that's primarily used for rowing. I do have a canoe seat up there, the green one, that sort of has a hook on it that will hook under these pieces. I'll pause that for a second. Okay, so that's a low seat for rowing. It's currently attached to a center line, and down the center of the canoe, when I redid the ribs, I put a copper pipe under the ribs to create a little tunnel all the way down the keel line of the boat. In that, I ran a cable wire that I have used to put prusik that slide along that in the various sections and allow attachment points for things like this seat. And here I have it attached to a cinch belt from an old Army backpack shoulder strap, and that allows me to quickly cinch it tighter. And out here there's a small foot piece connected by cords back to the seat to give resistance for rowing as a footstep. As I mentioned before, I had a little seat that I can put on and adjust position wise. It has a little undergroove piece there. I can also put, if you see the 4 screw holes there, okay, those are attaching like a twist seat mount. But presently that's not been done. I've just used the hook on it, which slides under that piece there, pulls up, and does a good job of providing for a seat that I can reverse depending on which way I'm sitting in the canoe and where the seat is located at. Okay. All right. Okay, this right here is a lee board that I have temporarily got fixed up with a temporary side. This is a pivot one, and this is a, you might say, expeditionary lee board here that's designed to slide over the edge of the gunwale, okay, gunnel. This board here I'm undecided on, but that may end up being a high seat that I slide across my rowing arms to provide for a higher elevated seating when sailing. Okay, coming back. Next thing is the rowing kit. Okay, the rowing kit consists of 2 arms right here. Okay, each of them are pretty much the same. I've created, these are 1x3s, I believe, maybe 1x4s, that I have cut grooves in for attachments. On the outer piece here, you'll see a little block that provides outward resistance to keep the canoe from spreading wider and to keep these from sliding loose. And on the inside, I have conduit clamps right there. They were U-bolts, but I have taken and cut those in half with a jigsaw and a metal cutting blade. These attach to a rowing kit cross thwart, which attaches to the rail. Here I used a draw bolt underneath. Okay, and that draw bolt keeps that in position pretty good, and the groove that I cut into the 2x4 keeps it from going left and right and provides lateral resistance. Okay, next are the 8-foot oars. Okay, I made these following some directions I found online. These are 8 foot long, and here is a gasket clamp with a wire tie down put in place to hold that and keep it from sliding too far out. That turned out to be essential because the online instructions were for wrapping bungee, which I found, at least the bungee I had, wore and broke too quickly. Okay. Coming back, I have put another seat in. Okay. And this one is because my wife has back pains, and I like her to ride with me at times, and it provides more comfortable seat. And so this is where a passenger can ride, or you can sit and fish from. It is on a swivel, and it is on the same base up there, and I've attached it using the same lower pieces here in the piece across piece. Okay. All right. Next thing back, if you see the green hose on the inner line, okay, that was an attempt to put use an old garden hose and some wire insulation clamps on the side rails to provide a place for rope to run down without interfering with the passenger. That in theory works good, but the down problem is I do experience a lot of extra friction in that system, which in turn makes it a little difficult to use. All right, but one of these this one here is for the sheet for the mizzen, and over here this one is the uphaul for the mizzen, the halyard for the mizzen. This right here is a mount for a GoPro that I made basically using the packaging box. Put some holes in it and mounted that under one of my eye bolts on my mast partner in the rear for the mizzen. 2 eye bolts back there again, one for the halyard and one for the mizzen. And then this third one here, since I anticipate that I will preset the downhaul and use only the uphaul to pull it up when I'm out in the water. Okay. Now, I've still got some cleats on this particular mast here. Some of them I use in this configuration, but that's partly there in case I decide to use this mast in a smaller configuration with the foot step and the partner up here. This was the original setup that I had. You can see right here, this right here serves as a mast step or mast partner, and down the bottom you can see a foot step for a center mounted sail. Currently not using that configuration. Okay. The uphaul, I've used a cleat over here that once I pull it in, I will cleat that there, and that runs straight back and up to the top. And over here on this side, underneath, I've put a jamming cleat. Maybe not a good idea, but this one's for the mizzen. From here, I can pull it and lock it in place. Okay. I'm undecided if I'm going to keep that like that. Next thing back here is a line for the uphaul for the rudder. Once I uphaul the rudder, that can be cleated in place. This is set up for a fishing rod holder. I've never used that in practice here, but the idea was that when fishing, I could put a fishing rod on that piece and free my hands while I'm still doing something else. Across the other side, we'll come back to this piece here, which has got to do with the rudders. Okay, let's go back to the rudder. This is a add-on piece that I did. Here I have a wedge that I put in underneath the gunwale. I have another wedge that filled the gap from below the gunwale to the top of the canoe edge, and then from there I put a wedge in to level this piece out, and I made basically a shallow U, a bar coming across and then down, and then off of that another bar comes back in with a V against the side of the canoe. Okay, that provides for an opportunity for it to give some support. Then right now, presently, for the pintle pintles I'm using and pintle attachment. Golly, what the hell? Anyway, for the rudder attachments, I have 2 eye bolts. One eye of the eye bolts, the lower one, has 2 screws on it, or nuts on it, lower and upper. to keep the bolt in place upright. One is longer than the other to help putting on the rudder, and the top one I have put 2 screws on it to provide for the tie down or of the rudder. And then on the back I have the T piece of it with the rudder attachment on it. It's a kick-up rudder. Okay, so I can uphaul the rudder here, okay, with this cord, and I can also change it out with a different rudder blade, longer, shorter, and so forth. Right now this was a temporary hasty one. I mean, I have a piece of plywood, and I put some resin for fiberglass over the wood to help waterproof that. For the downhaul mechanical, I have a bungee right here that's looped several times, and then I got it hooked to a screw here, and then through an eye bolt here. This is removable, and that basically provides the downhaul to keep it down in the water and resist upward flotation, but still afford the kick up. Now at the top, I've made the T piece of this so that one, I have a metal plate across here to help strengthen the connection of the wood. I put an eye bolt on the back side to facilitate the path of the upflow, and I put one here which aligns right above the hinge eye bolts, which really is important for raising and lowering and to keep this cord tight once it pivots. It also facilitates having this boom attachment and doesn't affect the rudder steering. On the outside edge I've put a carabiner that's for basically facilitates the passing of this 550 cord, so I don't have nylon or nylon rubbing. That's connected to a loop that can be attached from this toggle, and then this cord itself runs back around this knob, okay, and then it loops multiple times around this circular pulley with the toggle on it. That will serve as a steering piece for the rudder, and then coming across, you see the line runs through a loop there. On the underside of that, okay, it passes through a nut which I can tighten down, and that provides rudder control and keeps the rudder from shifting on me. Basically allows me to give more friction to the rudder system, as well as lock the rudder in position and frees up my hand from having to hold it in a particular angle. Okay. All right. That's essentially it. One other thing is that for my oar locks, okay, I put washers around here to help resist, improve protection from the wood. But on the bottom of the oar itself is a little string with a toggle on it. That can be bent and slid back through, but basically if this toggle pulls out, okay, and falls over, I won't lose it in the water, or if I capsize, I won't lose it. Okay. All right. I think that about does it for my sailing canoe at this point, and hopefully we'll get it out today and see how she does on the water. Right. Thanks.